As the investigation into the Delhi 10-11 blast intensifies, investigators now believe that the bomb was likely assembled inside Umar Nabi's i20, the car that blew up, that exploded on the 10th of November. And CCTV footage shows him spending nearly 3 hours inside a parking lot near the Red Fort on the 10th of November. Crucially, no detonator or timers have been recovered so far from the site. A new CCTV footage, however, has come up in which Umar can be spotted and 2 mobile phones can be seen in his hand. And that has raised a crucial question. Where is the phone? Has it been handed over to somebody before the blast? And what was Umar Nabi doing in the parking for 3 hours? Was he waiting for a call? And according to sources, forensic teams could not find any phone from the blast site that belongs to Umar. My colleague Akhil, in fact, spoke to the shopkeeper of a shop in Red Fort area where Umar was spotted a few days before the blast. Let's listen into that conversation.
इस वक्त हम मौजूद हैं फरीदाबाद के एक दुकान के पास जहां पर उमर पहुंचा और दुकान के जो मालिक हैं वो अभी अपनी शनाख्त बताने से बच रहे हैं सिक्योरिटी कारणों से। अच्छा, मुझे ये बताइए, 30 अक्टूबर को आपके पास वो शख्स आता है, उमर नाम का टेररिस्ट आता है, क्या कहा आपसे?
मेरे पास वो अकेला नहीं आता, उसके साथ एक व्यक्ति था जिसको मैं जानता था। वो पास ही के गांव का रहने वाला था और वो उसी के साथ आता है और मेरी दुकान पे और बैठ जाता है और उसके बाद वो अपने बैग से एक फ़ोन निकालता है।
वो पहली बार आपके दुकान पे आया था या पहले भी कई बार आ चुका?
नहीं, वो पहली बार आया था।
जो उसके साथ दूसरा व्यक्ति था वो पहले आ चुका था आपके दुकान?
हाँ, वो पास ही के गाँव का रहने वाला था जिसको मैं जानता था।
वो उसको कैसे जानता था? दोनों की दोस्ती?
वो उसकी दवा चल रही थी अल्फला हॉस्पिटल से और उसने कोई दवा वगैरह लिखवाई थी। उसके पास पर्चा भी था अल्फला हॉस्पिटल का, तो इस वजह से वो उसको अपने साथ लेके आया था कि दवा वगैरह मेरे को बता देगा ये।
जब वो आपके पास आया, क्या बोला उसने आपसे? दुकान पे मोबाइल निकाल कर दिया, क्या बोला?
नहीं, उस डॉक्टर है जो, उससे मेरी कोई बात नहीं हुई। वो बस बैठ गया था, जो पास में जो व्यक्ति था उससे मेरी बात हुई थी। वो दवा वगैरह के लिए पूछ रहा था उससे। तो कुछ देर बाद बैठने के बाद उसने अपने बैग से एक फ़ोन निकाला जो कि स्विच ऑफ था। उसने चार्जिंग के लिए मेरी दुकान में लगा दिया था। उसके बाद फिर वो चला गया।
कितनी दूर रुका लगभग?
10 से 15-20 मिनट के आसपास।
उसकी बॉडी लैंग्वेज देखी थी, क्या डरा हुआ था, सहमा हुआ था?
वो घबराया हुआ सा था और एकदम शांत था। वो लगातार अपने फ़ोन में देख रहा था, शायद कॉल्स वगैरह कुछ ऐसा कर रहा था।
पुलिस ने आपके डीवीआर कलेक्ट कर ली होगी, सीसीटीवी?
हाँ, वो सीसीटीवी फुटेज वगैरह जो सारी जानकारी थी वो पुलिस के पास है। वो लेके चली गई है।
आपको कब पता चला कि उस शख्स का जो इन्वॉल्वमेंट है वो उस ब्लास्ट से?
मुझे न्यूज़ के बाद, जो इंसिडेंट हुआ था, ब्लास्ट हुआ था, उसके बाद न्यूज़ चली थी, उसमें पता चला उसके बाद कि ऐसे ऐसे।
वीडियो जर्नलिस्ट धर्मेंद्र के साथ आकिल, NDTV।
Well, let me also give you a gist of what sources have told NDTV with regard to the update in this investigation. Sources have told NDTV that Dr. Umar Mohammad was a trained bomb maker. Remember that he was a doctor, a resident doctor associated with the Al Falah University in Faridabad. He has, of course, links with Kashmir. He has also worked as a resident doctor in Srinagar. And it is believed that it was Umar Nabi who was driving that car that exploded on the 10th of November. Now, Umar is believed to have used over 2 kg of ammonium nitrate in the blast. Forensic teams have recovered more than 52 explosive samples. Investigators, however, also believe that he may have assembled the device in just 5 to 10 minutes using ammonium nitrate, petroleum oil, and also some kind of detonating material which is not really clear as to what it was. Security agencies have also probed if Umar Nabi was preparing the explosives at a nearby parking lot. Remember, he spent 3 hours before the blast occurred, and he was waiting at the Red Fort parking lot for 3 hours. Earlier visuals have also spotted him crossing the toll to come to Delhi from Faridabad, and he had parked his car in the Red Fort parking area. He spent 3 hours there. However, there are no signs of a detonator or a timer or any remnants of this that have been recovered from the site. Okay, let me also bring in my guest now, SP Ved, who's a former DGP of J&K, who's joining us now. We'll also be joined by others in just a bit. Thank you, Mr. Ved, for speaking to NDTV. So the first question is, it all started with the Jaish-e Mohammed posters coming up on the 20th of October, and the way J&K police reacted is quite commendable, because it also led to this entire network, this module being busted. How do you look at the role of J&K police in this entire thing, and also various revelations by SIT across Gujarat, Haryana, and of course Uttar Pradesh?
Good evening, Vasudha ji, to you and to your viewers. See, I think it is a masterpiece of professional work. J&K Police, I had the privilege of being part of it, and a lot of my colleagues had headed this. Is I think one of the best police forces in the country, and it has faced terrorism in last more than 3.5 decades. So it's sheer, the struggle to survive and struggle to exist. The J&K police had gained a lot of experience in countering terrorism
Right.
and investigation about terrorism. So this particular case you are asking, it started with the poster, and I think masterpiece of excellent work done by the investigators, particularly team headed by the additional DG's intelligence and SSP Srinagar and their officers,
Right.
SHO of the concerned police station where we had unfortunate incident yesterday. I think all these officers did a commendable work, and how interstate network was cracked and leading
Right.
from just one information of scanning the video footage of posters,
Right.
how it reached, that Molvi, and then on his disclosure, the doctor, and then the recovery from Faridabad, and all those huge quantity of explosive, which could have actually killed thousands of people, and huge terror incidents in the country. I'm told there was a plan for
Right. But
procuring about
Mr. Ved, also explain to us, when we talk about ammonium nitrate, we have heard of this particular chemical when you talk about, road construction or fertilizers. When it comes to 2,900 kg of explosives, can you explain to us the scale of what could have been planned or what was really being planned?
See, if you remember, Oklahoma bomb blast, about 2,000 kg of explosive was used. And here you have recovery of 2,900, roughly 3,000 kg of explosive, along with other arms and ammunition and other liquid explosive, and so many other recoveries were made. It could have, if as per the information of the investigators, if these all this explosive was used, and all these cars, which they were planning about 32 of them to be procured. Can you imagine? They were planning on the anniversary of the demolition of the Babri Masjid,
Right.
something in multiple places.
Right, Mr. Ved, let me also bring in another element here. Jammu Kashmir Police is also preparing to issue a red corner notice against Dr. Muzaffar. Now, who is Dr. Muzaffar and why is he important to this case? Dr. Muzaffar is the brother of the accused, Dr. Adil, in Delhi terror blast. Dr. Adil was also somebody who was associated with Al-Falah Institute of Medical Sciences. He's in police custody now, and he's also believed to have been somebody who was working with this network of doctors, all from Al-Falah Institute of Medical Sciences, and a lot of ammunition has also been found from him, is what we understand. Now, cops believe that he has fled to Afghanistan. This is Dr. Muzaffar, the brother of Dr. Adil. And why is Dr. Muzaffar important? Cops believe that he served as a key link between the Jaish-e-Mohammed module in India and the Pakistani handlers who were in touch with the doctors, is what investigating agencies are telling us. In fact, sources have also said that Dr. Muzaffar traveled to Turkey in 2022, and that is where he met the main handler, Ukasa. And we also understand from our sources that the entire plan for the Delhi blast was hatched, planned, and also controlled from Turkey. That's an important piece of detail. Back to you, Mr. Ved. This whole Turkey angle to this, and the fact that this was a transnational interstate terror attack, how does that become so important, considering that people in Delhi had become complacent with the fact that terror attacks are a thing of the past? Yes, it happens in Kashmir, but this something that's so targeted at civilians is something that we are noticing after a long time.
Yes, Vasudha. See, it's not only interstate, international connections this particular module had, and how all the doctors were taken in the loop, radicalized. Can you imagine a rational person like a doctor getting getting radicalized to the extent that he's ready to kill his own countrymen, to the extent of what Dr. Umar did, that suicide bomber. So this, I think, Pakistan ISI this time, after realizing that it's not succeeding in undertaking multiple terror attacks as before 2014, it was able to undertake a lot of attacks. It was actually after 2014, it was not succeeding. So, realizing that something big needs to be done in the country, and the narrative of Mr. Modi's government, that after 2014, all the terror incidents in the country have been stopped. So I
Talk
think
about solutions here.
shrewdly.
I believe that a lot of these doctors were also radicalized through the internet. Should there also be counter radicalization measures which are also available digitally? Because it seems like while we talk about reasons for radicalization, be it alienation or the lone wolf attacks, there doesn't seem to be any digital tool available to de-radicalize individuals and youngsters. It's not possible to arrest everybody, isn't it? So how does a state, how does a society, and how does an investigating agency use digital tools to de-radicalize youngsters?
Vasudha, a very valid point, and in fact, this is a big challenge for the country like India. I don't know how many such modules exist in other parts of the country, and we are surrounded by neighbors like Pakistan and Bangladesh. I think a huge attack from all sides, including transnational terror outfits like Jaish-e-Mohammed and ISIS, are eyeing on India. You have seen how ISIS recruited people from Kerala, and they were tracked down. So I think today's time, internet is being extensively used, including dark web, for training, for radicalizing, for how to make bombs, and all these modules are available. And Pakistan ISI is using these to radicalize our people. And today, a lot of countries are working, including Europe and America. They are also facing Islamic radicalization and Islamic terror in a big way. And countries like, Dutch, that France, Germany,
Right.
even Poland, and Meloni's Italy, all these countries today are using they are doing a lot of work
That's a very
on
important
how
point,
to
sir.
counter.
This is not a problem that India alone faces. So there's so much that we need to learn from the West also, and this needs to be looked as a collective problem. Mr. Ved, do stay with us. In the latest that we are tracking in the Delhi 10/11 blast case, 22 doctors are on, of course, the radar of investigating agencies, and many of them are from Al Falah University in Faridabad. An MBBS student of the Al Falah University has been arrested by the National Investigating Agencies. Remember, the MHA transferred this case to NIA, and it's the NIA that is looking into this case now. And this is in West Bengal's Uttar Dinajpur district. For the student is from Uttar Dinajpur, North Dinajpur in West Bengal, and he's been in the custody now. He's under the radar, the scrutiny of investigating agencies for his alleged links to terror outfits, as well as the Al Falah University doctors who are already in custody. 2 FIRs have been filed by the Delhi police against the Al Falah University on the basis of the action that has been taken by UGC and the National Accreditation Council, which looks at universities and technical education. FIR has also been filed on the action that has been initiated by the UGC, the University Grants Commission that takes care of university affairs. And there is one FIR for cheating, and the second one is under different sections of forgery. Now, a team from Delhi police has also raided the Al Falah University in Okhla. This is another campus that they have. They probed financial irregularities and the probability of foreign funding being misused by the staff members of this university. Let's take a look at this report.
Al-Falah University is the terror den, and today we are going to show you that how the university looks from inside. We will be taking an aerial view of the Al-Falah University and especially the entire area where Dr. Mujammil, Dr. Umar and also in fact Dr. Shaheen used to stay. And now we will be just in few minutes getting an aerial view so as to how this entire university looks from inside. In the pictures you can see that these are the pictures of Al-Falah University, Al-Falah Hospital, because room number 13 plays a very important role over here. Room number 13 was the same room where the entire plot to how to carry out the terror attack was decided over here only. Apart from that, the explosive, if we talk about, then the explosives also were allegedly retrieved or in fact taken from the hospital, from the laboratory itself, and the car of Dr. Shaheen was also parked here, the Breeza car. So these are all the visuals that we are giving you, the top the aerial visuals. And now in fact we'll try to zoom in and show that where the hospital is, how the emergency area looks like, because now the financial frauds, the financial irregularities also of this hospital are under scanner. They will also be probed by EOW and the enforcement directorate as well. Apart from that, back-to-back investigation teams are inside the hospital probing the entire case. The digital evidences are also being retrieved, and these are the exclusive pictures that NDTV is getting you from inside, from the top of the Al-Falah Hospital.
Okay, Pradeep Datta joins us now. Pradeep Datta, help us understand the overall terror angle to this. What is it that J&K police is saying? Also explain to us the context of something like this happening, because we've also seen Pulwama in the past. Explain to us, what do you know from the ground as you are there?
Right now, Vasudha, all I can say, the biggest ever challenge that is confronting security agencies is radicalization. And one thing is not quite clear, that this debunks the theory, because there are some people who say that people join terrorism because of unemployment or they are not getting better opportunities. That's one of the reasons that they are driven towards terror-related activities. But here in this case, you have seen that these are doctors, they were doing well as professionals, but this shows that how a double life they are leading. On during morning hours or the afternoon hours, they are like professionals who are working and doing their job, and during evening hours and night time they are working as sleeper cells, and that's really a matter of concern. And here in this particular case, I think one should salute Kashmir police, because they were able to thwart this nefarious, sinister plot of Jaish-e-Mohammed, where they had been using these white-collar terrorists to carry out explosions, because it was a bigger plot. But on October 18th, during investigation, they found that some of the posters that surfaced in Naugam area, during the course of investigation, they started looking for the CCTV footage, and finally they were able to identify 3 overground workers, and with the help of the 3 overground workers, they were able to nail one of the clerics who was working in that mosque. And while interrogating that man, they got to know that how this man had been radicalizing, how he had been brainwashing, and he had been also indoctrinating young impressionable minds, and also these doctors also, and making them work as a terror module for Jaish-e-Mohammed. So there is a nexus between the Maulvis, medicos, and also the terror module that they were trying to set up. Right. Because the plan was that they wanted to carry out about 32 to 50 explosions on December 6th, that is the anniversary of Babri Masjid. But right, because Kashmir police was able to nab these people and the doctors, because of which that Umar, one of the doctors, he got panicked. Otherwise, he had a different kind of a plan.
No, that's a very important point, Pradeep Datta. Do stay with us. We also have Lieutenant General Syed Atta Hasnain joining us now. He's the Chancellor of Central University of Kashmir. Thank you, General Hasnain, for joining us. You've been writing so much on this as well, sir. I want you to elaborate on the role of how radicalization is still a very big problem for the country. The guns have fallen silent, the stone pelting has stopped, but this is something that continues to happen. And the role of overground workers in creating those networks for terrorists, which seem to have really be really working. How does one identify these workers early, and how does one react in a case like this?
Thank you, first of all, for inviting me for your program. And I can see that on your panel, you have got a set of experts, absolutely. People who know Jammu and Kashmir quite inside out. So let me elaborate on this. There's no doubt that over the last couple of years, terrorists have been eliminated. But what most people who do not understand security in Jammu and Kashmir, They do not realize that it is not just the elimination of terrorists which gets rid of the problem. You have to get rid of the system, what is called terrorism. There's a whole system behind it. It's also referred to as an ecosystem. Now, in that ecosystem, besides so many other domains of financial people, media people, government functionaries at lower levels, etc., there are a host of overground workers. These overground workers are the types who come and shake hands with the DGP Saab or me or with Pradeep Datta Saab, and they are above ground, everyone. They are not hidden anywhere. And you cannot arrest them because you got nothing against them as such. You can't even take them to court. Now, these are the people well radicalized who essentially support terrorism in a big way. So what we've seen is the reduction of terrorists, but an enhancement of terrorism. Now, so far, what the Jammu and Kashmir police and the national security forces and intelligence agencies had been able to do was to isolate them and keep them all in Jammu and Kashmir.
Right.
Now what we are seeing suddenly is a return to the 90s and the return to the early part of the millennium, when we found Delhi, northern India, parts of central India and even southern India all exposed to terrorism.
Right.
That's exactly what we are suspecting today, that this is only the tip of the iceberg we are seeing at the moment.
Okay.
And that radicals involved here may probably have similar radical networks all over the country.
Right.
So we are just seeing the beginning of the busting of these networks. So far we have seen it's gone down to Pathankot, we've seen it in Delhi, we've seen it in Haryana, we've seen it in Jammu and Kashmir itself, and I suspect it will go into other parts of India. Okay. Remembering one fact that 2019, Sri Lanka had the famous Easter bombings in April. The links to that were all from Coimbatore, Bangalore, portions of other parts of Tamil Nadu.
Okay.
So the DGP Saab knows it very well.
Okay. But General Hasnain, when you talk about this Al-Falah doctors, everybody who knew them says that, they were very friendly, they were accessible, they used to be mentors. What kind of safeguards do you need to ensure that radicalization is also countered with efficient counter-radicalization measures, and how much of this is available online, because internet has become so big now? Are investigating agencies, are they being able to effectively use online tools to de-radicalize people? Because there's also this danger of communities getting stigmatized in this.
I'm so Vaidsa will agree with me that while we have achieved wonders in terms of reducing terrorists, securing India for the last 15 years, our ability to counter the narratives of the other side, who are essentially using our side as proxies, those efforts at narratives which they come from across are very strong, and they continue to affect the community here. If you have to counter this, you need to have stronger narratives. You need to have a stronger system. Now, that is something that we have not been able to achieve completely, although lots of efforts are going on towards it. For example, there are countries around the world who have achieved this very successfully. Saudi Arabia, for example, the UAE, for example. Now, you need online people who can, for example, if there are 100 videos on YouTube of people trying to radicalize our younger people in India, we must have 1,000 YouTube videos to counter-radicalize. You have to just outbeat them in the narrative and the quantum of effort that you are putting in. Singapore, for example, netted with Malaysia and with Indonesia, has got a large number of very, very moderate Maulvis, the people from the clergy, who are available to the younger people for interpretation of issues on Islam that there may be doubts about. For example, someone tells the people in Kashmir that jihad is their duty or something like that.
Right.
There should be enough people to interpret and tell the people it is not your duty.
Okay. Yeah.
You need to believe in your nation first more than anything else.
Right.
These are the kind of narratives that we talk about.
That's an excellent suggestion, sir. It makes me think how this should be dealt with socially. Pradeep Datta, I want you to come in here. Explain to us, what is the mood in the valley, sir? You've covered so many terror attacks in the past. Help us understand what's the sentiment on ground. Now that this Naugam blast has also taken place, how are people looking at what has happened in J&K and also in Delhi?
Vasudha, you are asking this to me?
Pradeep Datta, yes, sir.
Yes, Vasudha, see, what is important is that we are always looking at the symptoms but not trying to go for the preventive measures, because what we have been doing all these years, that we had been looking at the time bomb ticking on the roadside, but never ever we try to neutralize the time bomb that is ticking in the minds. I think that's really a matter of concern, that we have to neutralize that time bomb that's ticking in the minds. And for that, we have to take care of the social media, because the social media is being used for the disinformation and misinformation campaign. And through social media also, they are trying to occupy a mind space, and where they are trying to influence young. The stone pelting has come to screeching halt. If we talk about the terror-related incidents, that has also decreased. The number of local youth joining terror rank, that has almost become zero. So that way, the things are really good. But what is really more important is that we have done the surgery. That was the abrogation of Article 370. But after surgery, that post-operative care is really very important, which we have to work on. That certain measures are to be taken where they can really control the situation and make it better. One is that we should come out of that all is well syndrome. Because when I say all is well, that doesn't mean that all is not well. But when we start saying that all is well, that way we are creating more trouble. Because I think we have to come out of that all is well syndrome, and we have to work in a direction where we have to look after ecosystem, because that ecosystem is to be dismantled properly.
Yeah.
I think more worries from the overground workers. They are the one who are providing logistic support, and they are the one who are providing oxygen to the ecosystem of terror, and because of that, the terrorism is able to sustain. But
Right.
I think now they have already initiated action. But now it is time that they need to also take action against all those elements who are trying to promote and propagate this ideology. And for that, I think mainstream political party leaders should also be asked not to do any such things that is really going to encourage and embolden such elements. But unfortunately, what is happening in Jammu and Kashmir is that many of those political party leaders,
Right.
for their vote bank, they always keep on promoting particular ideology, and that's only going to encourage such elements. It is because of that reason that we have seen that the terrorism still continues. But I think we have to neutralize the time bomb that is ticking in the minds. That's really very important, rather than looking at the time bomb that's ticking on the roadside.
Right. Mr. Ved, that's a very important point that Pradeep Datta has made, and also General Hasnain also spoke about the importance of social systems in de-radicalization. Mr. Datta spoke about the importance of not being complacent, but when an incident like this happens in Delhi and involves doctors from Kashmir, how does this affect the peace process in J&K? How should people react to this, and how should policymakers, those in power, how should they look at this, especially when it comes to the valley?
I think General Hassan and Pradeep Datta both made very valid points, and the social fabric and narrative building, use of social media is very, very important. And I have personally interrogated, I think, thousands of terrorists, and I know how Pakistan ISI is obsessed with two major incidents in this country. One is Gujarat riots, and other is Babri Masjid demolition, and how these two things, narratives, is used to radicalize Indian youth, Muslim youth, but in particular, not only Kashmiris, even other parts of the country. And it is a war of, as General Hasnan said, it's a war of narratives. You have on the social media in the time of internet so much of material for radicalizing, but then it is how much you are able to counter it. And I don't think police forces are doing their bit, but I don't think the kind of expertise that's required and the help of community leaders, Muslim leaders, Muslim religious leaders, as General Hassan was mentioning, is available in let's say Malaysia, Singapore, or Indonesia. I don't think that kind of thing is happening in India. A lot of work is required to be done, both online and offline. You are churning in lakhs of young Muslim minds, young Muslim boys who have been radicalized to the extent that they do not see any affiliation to their own country.
Absolutely. General Hasnain, I have very little time left, and I want you to talk about, the one thing that was shocking about this incident was also doctors from cities like Lucknow and of course Faridabad getting into something like this, because cities are also seen as progressive, cities are also seen as equalizers, because you can do anything in a city, nobody is going to care about, it's not a village, people don't get to know about your secret lives. How does one look at the lives of individuals, professionals, getting into extremism, especially in the urban towns of India? And this is important considering that India is also getting urbanized at a very fast pace.
Vasudha, that is a huge challenge for the Indian establishment. Look at a rational mind like a doctor being radicalized to the extent that he's ready to kill his countrymen, ready to break his country, ready to become even suicide.
General Hussain, would you like to take that question, sir?
We only know.
Add here in this that, it's a misnomer that all big cities are progressive in outlook and progressive in nature with all the people there, the urbanites as such. In every city in UP, I can tell you, in every major city in Madhya Pradesh, I can tell you, there are clusters and clusters which are called the walled city areas, which continue to remain and some kind of a relic of the past continues to be there. People there don't change their minds. Minds are not changed, not modernized. You may find electronics coming in, you may find mobile phones coming in, but the mind has to change. And for that you need, as Vaid Sahab has just said, you need experts, you need psychologists, you need people, leaders, thought leaders, who can put together these kind of programs and utilize them.
Right. Thank you all of you for joining me on this broadcast. Clearly, fighting violence could be easier, but fighting ideology is not. And also radicalization needs to be met with counter-radicalization measures. And more importantly, we need to look at this with social measures also in place, so that there are better answers when it comes to accountability on terror attacks. With that, it's time for a short break. More news and updates on the other side.